Welcome back. We continue our series of Thiaoouba Truth, this time delving into the purpose of God, our higher self, and the role our soulmates can play in our lives, as detailed in Michel Desmarquet's Thiaoouba Prophecy. Michel, we've touched on a lot of subjects in this program so far, and this is actually our last side. You explained in your book that there are 9 categories of evolution that each person, each soul, if you wish, must encounter before returning to the source. Can you explain that a little bit more in detail for us?
Yes, we got a different category. We are the first, and it's going up to the 9. But that is only... it's difficult to explain that because it's between your higher self and yourself when you reincarnate each time. So, if you are, example, on the first category planet, it doesn't mean you have to go to the second category and the third category, the fourth category. Because it's a very, very private business, if we can talk like that, between your higher self and yourself each time. In reincarnation, each time with your higher self, you preview a new life and you can take it or refuse it. Always you remember, I told you we have a free will by will of God, of the Creator, and that is absolutely true. And when your higher self show you a new life, you say, yes, I can learn something, I can do it, or no, I refuse it. Then obviously, you and I, for the moment, we accept it because we are on Earth with billions of people. Also, to extend a bit on your question, every one of us, every one of our, we call astral body. I don't talk about us now, I talk about us as astral body having a physical experience. Every one of us has a different lesson to learn, different role, and I can prove it to you because you like proof, okay? We are about 5 billion, I think, people on that planet. Can you tell me if I'm lying or if I'm wrong if we don't have 5 billion of different fingerprints? The police know that.
Correct.
Do we have 5 billion different fingerprints?
Yes.
Good. Each individual have a different fingerprint. Do you know that? Okay, you can't deny that. And the fingerprints are, if you like, the physical proof of each astral body. When the astral body, I know you didn't see that in my book because I didn't explain that in the book. I will one day maybe. But each astral body in the womb of his mother, I don't know why, but built his own fingerprints like an identity card, if you like. And each is different. But the difference physical by fingerprints, which is very different things. It's amazing. You have 5 billion people, 5 billion different fingerprints. So means each individual got a different goal, different role, and mine a different goal on his life to achieve. You know, it can be, as we said before, a beggar or a prince or anything, but he has something different to learn. That's the evolution. Now, if you talk about different planet, a different category planet, when I talk about the number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, I say the Earth is the kindergarten. I'm only talking also, mainly talking about the environment of the planet. The planet Earth, you understand that is a planet we call, certain people call, of the planet of sorrow, because we have example, you go barefoot in Queensland, you have the sensitive plant, and you hurt yourself. You have a beautiful rose, and then you want to smell the rose, and you have stones, and you hurt yourself. Why that? You have mosquitoes, you have the malaria, you have the HIV, you have lot of problem, which has nothing to do with pollution, by the way. That is a part, that is an extra. But all those things, if you like, it's hard to live with. Why a beautiful rose is going to hurt you? So the environment, I'm not talking about the destruction of the environment. The natural environment is made like that. And that is what's happening number 2, number 3, number 4, and when we arrive on the top of the ladder, the environment is absolutely different, and you don't have to cope with bad stuff, physical stuff. It's a bit the comparison of the university on the ninth planet and kindergarten is here is exactly that. If you are in a kindergarten, you are with nappies. You are with your mother behind a parent, telling you have to do that, you have to blow your nose and so on. It's a different stuff in a kindergarten than a university. Even the tables are smaller because you are kid. And in a university, if you are a teenager, for example, 16 years old, before the university, your parents say, can you do the rubbish bin? When you are in a university, you don't do maybe the rubbish bin anymore. You know what I mean?
I do,
it's a different stuff. You are only focusing on learning something. Some people, they have to work physically to pay the university. But if you are lucky, you have an apport of money and you only focus on what you are learning without the physical. And that is what is the different 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. Different environment in different category, but of course at the same time you are higher and higher with your astral body. And the astral body of course continue and learn more, have more knowledge. Now don't get me wrong. Maybe your question was a bit also with two meaning. I'm going to answer. It is not because you are on planet number 1, you are going to go planet number 2, 3, 4. I mean planet, different environment. No, maybe you don't know. You are so strong, so good, so marvelous. You learn so much. So suddenly you jump to number 9. Nobody knows. It's very, 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 very private between your higher self and yourself and the different higher self, which govern the astral world, if you. Okay. So it's very, very difficult to tell you to answer. Definitely, it works like that. Okay, you take a Holden, then you take a Porsche, then you take a Ferrari, and you come back at the Holden, and you take the Rolls Royce. It doesn't work like that.
Yes.
Okay. It's very, very difficult to know that.
Having said that, though, Michel, and I know how long is a piece of string. Is there any sort of average number of lifetimes that somebody could experience on one category, such as this first one?
No, either. You can have, example, I think Tao had 270 lifetime, and I am in my 81st. Nobody knows what's going to happen if it's a 10, 20, 300, and it has a lot of things written about lifetime. A lot of things, like people say, certain religion, I think in India, tell you, you can have 3,000, 4,000 lifetime. Certain people maybe have, many lifetimes, same as less. Depends, because finally the lifetime is just the car you inhabit. It's a bit like if you tell me, my father had 10 cars in his life, and you say my sister already got 20 cars, and she's twice younger than my father, something like that. It's a depend, all depend. You can't put a real rule on that. It's the individually different.
So you could easily spend on, say, this category on Earth. You could easily have been here for, say, maybe 200 or so years. 200 or so lifetimes. Yeah.
You can say, look, I've been in a different category of planet, and I am 81 lifetime here, and I've been higher. So I hope it's my last one. I don't know. Yeah. We can't say that. Okay. You can try to imagine, but we will wrong all the time because it is absolutely private between your own higher self and yourself.
Fair enough. I understand that. On earlier tapes, we looked at the essence of God, and you said that God is an immense collection of electrons, a massive electrons.
The center of the universe.
In the center of the universe, that's right. There's the age-old question, Michel, about what came first. Was it the chicken or the egg? And my question to you is basically, it's a biggie. What came before God? And in fact, who or what created God?
Aha. That's the second time people ask me that question.
Good.
And there's no answer for that one.
There is That's two.
No answer for that one. Nobody knows. Yeah.
Let's try for 3. Okay.
That's a very good. And everybody wonder about that.
Yeah.
And I asked Tao too, and she say, we don't know. Even Tao.
Well, there you go. They're not perfect either.
Nobody knows.
Maybe when they get to the source, they can let us know.
Yeah, maybe we will, you know.
Let me try for another one. Do you have any idea how old God is?
Oh, we don't know. That's like the people in religion, example, they tell you for the eternity, never start, never end. I don't know. If I would answer a question, it would be my own personal opinion.
Yeah.
And I don't want to mix my own personal opinion in any interview, any books or anything like that, because that would be my own theory or opinion, become a philosophy. Philosophy is nice, but we are not here, you and I, and Tao, and in my book, to give theory, personal opinion. I'm here to tell you what I learn and what I have to witness, what I witness and what I have to tell you as I know it, really know it. If I begin to beat around the bush, then I will give you my personal opinion. That's different.
That's a fair comment. Question also, Michel, we talked, actually we didn't talk about this, but it's actually in your book. You talk about electrons, which of course comprise our astral soul, our astral body, if you like. You mentioned in your book that there's only 2 ways of damaging the electron, and that is through noise and through hallucinogenic drugs. And in fact, you also say that it can take 1 or more lifetimes to
I said
repair.
damaging, yes. Maybe the terminology is maybe exactly, but it's a very, very bad,
disturbing,
if
maybe?
we say, disturbing, deforming. Deforming, do you understand?
Yes,
deforming,
I do.
you know, the shape, the form,
Yep.
the electron. That's the only thing. The very, very loud noise, and also not Panadol.
No.
But hallucinogen drug
Yes.
became that. It's very simple. Instead of sending the right information to your higher self, you send the wrong information with the hallucinogen drug. So the drug is to be banished for people. I know out there certain people are very happy because they say, we got an artificial paradise, we're happy, and we, first, the worst thing is sending false information to their higher self, and deforming the good electron, so they can come back many lives to, not to be punished, but to readjust, relearn. It's a waste of time.
Yes.
It would be worse, much worse than this life. First. Secondly, they make the fortune of a bunch of bastards out there who sell them drugs. Okay,
right.
So they are losing all the way.
Yes,
okay? They give their money to those people, but that is nothing to do with your question. Your question is about electron, and they deform their electron, and that is very, very damaging. It's a bit like again and again, the chauffeur is in a car, the driver is in a car, and you take a knife and you start to attack the driver. So the car doesn't care because it's the driver. Now the driver is going to bleed, and the drug is doing that. The drug gives you false information.
Yes.
Now, the person out there who listen to that and say, oh my God, I didn't know that, and I'm going to try to get out of the drug, and they can do that. They can do that not only for money, but it's just mainly for their own sake, because like that, they are going to already repair the damage now. They still can do it. It will be maybe a bigger effort for them to do it, and they will maybe, if you like, evolve more now on doing it than to say, it's too late, I give up. You know?
So what's the answer then, Michel? Is the answer, in terms of repairing your electrons, is the answer to meditate, to live a more holistic lifestyle?
And stop taking drugs as soon as possible, and to meditate, and that's it. That's it. Meditation and good friendship with other people. We are all on that planet on the same boat. We have to really act together. You know, that is a very important stuff.
Is it fair to
say?
Very
important. It would be less war, less rubbish if we act together. I know maybe it can seem a theory, but it's not a theory at all. It's very, very possible to do it. Many people do that all the time.
So is it fair to say to actually mean well in life then, Michel?
Yeah,
Thank you.
well.
Just thought I'd get that plug in there. That's excellent. I guess I'm also curious too, Michel. We've talked about basically electrons being virtually indestructible. You've mentioned that instead of damaging, we can malform or deform them. If a person does actually damage their electrons, they spend a life on hallucinogenic drugs like LSD or whatever. In their future incarnations, what actually happens to that person? What damage does this person undertake?
That person got a false information on this one, so she has to repair the damage she's done in another lifetime.
Right.
So I can't tell you what she's going to do because it will be a part of the famous karma. The karma is to relearn and relearn. The karma is not a punishment. The karma is a law
Education.
of cause to effect. So if you do something now, you have to, we can say pay for it if you like, but it's not really the word pay. Maybe I use even in my book to more giving a better picture. But you have to do something about it one way or another until you learn the lesson, and it's better to do it now than to do it later.
And what about, sorry to harp on this matter, what about things like, we all understand what hard drugs are and so on. What about soft drugs such as alcohol, such as marijuana, which is controversial?
Okay, marijuana is maybe, I don't know, I never smoked it, but I heard about it and people say it's just grass and it's soft. No, because they have hallucination, what I heard about it.
Yes.
And so finally, everything where you can have an hallucination and feel your astral body going a bit out of your physical body can be dangerous. Not can be dangerous, but it is dangerous.
So that's
now,
alcohol as well.
I had a very big discussion with Tao about that because Tao, we can say, drugged me twice. She drugged me one time. 1 minute. She drugged me one time to put my astral body out of my physical body. I talk about it in the first chapter. And I say, you talk about drugs and you've done it to me. And she say, no, we help you because you didn't know to do it. And we help you under our supervision to go astrally out of your physical body. And you had your all senses at that moment. You had all perfect view. Under our control, it was not hallucinogen drug. So I said, okay. Now, the second time when we went and we went to the, what do you call it, psychosphere.
Yes.
They helped me for that too. They helped me physically, but they also give me something. She said, no, it was not a hallucinogen drug. It was something to help you. And under our command. So I said, okay, I have to accept that. But I was a bit upset because when she told me about drugs, because I never took drug in my life. And people ask me, of course, for joke, can we take a cup of coffee? Now, you ask me before something more important, you say alcohol. Alcohol is not really a hallucinogen.
Right.
But of course, if you become drinking alcohol, you are not on control of yourself.
Yes.
Then you became, of course, alcoholic, you're not in control of yourself, you're losing your time.
Yes.
So alcohol and that kind is no good. I drink alcohol myself. I like very much a glass of wine. I'm very disappointed you didn't bring a glass of wine here.
The check is in the mail, Michel.
Yeah, okay. But to be drunk accidentally, that happen in your life is nothing really bad about that at all. But if you became very much drunk all the time, you, first of all, your physical body is damaged. Secondly, your astral body is not really damaged, but you have also too much false information, and that's no good. So, of course, it's not a very good idea, but definitely the hallucinogen drug, like all those drugs, actually, people drug themselves, they are losing all the way, so they better stop it as soon as possible.
Point
Because
taken.
they're losing for their wallet and they're losing for the main thing, of course, is the astral body.
Absolutely.
But I beg them, if they listen to that, don't say, oh, it's too late, I've been drugged all the time, I'm going to commit suicide, because commit suicide is the worst thing you can do because you're losing your time absolutely, completely. So, don't drag yourself, don't commit suicide, and be happy and enjoy your life as much as you can, and everything you think which can be good, common sense, you follow common sense, and that is the best way to do.
So it gets back to taking the natural approach, as you said, with the universal
natural
law.
approach.
Yeah.
You have a tree, the tree is making oxygen for you in the environment, the tree is making flower for production, etc., etc. It's normal. You don't see a tree bearing snake, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And that's it.
Exactly. Michel, we've talked at length on our program today about the physical body and, of course, the astral body, or as most people know it as the soul. You also mentioned in your book that there are, in fact, another 7 bodies attached to each human. Can you explain briefly what they are?
I don't remember exactly all of them, but you have the fluidic body, which is connected with the chakra. Mm-hmm. Of course, the physical, the astral, the overcosmic body, the etheric body. The etheric body is what we call etheric. It's exactly like an egg around you.
Right.
Depends the terminology. Sometimes people, how they call it. But that sort of egg around you is to preserve you against nocive cosmic influence in the universe. Mm-hmm. The nature have done that. For that, when in Thiaoouba they build those doko, yes, which are their force field, mm-hmm, they copy the nature as an egg. You have around you a sort of etheric body, which is, you live in an egg, if you like.
Yes.
Okay? And that is not to be confused with the aura. The mm-hmm, aura is something absolutely different. Mm-hmm. The aura is only the color emitted by your chakra. Okay?
Okay. Excellent. Michel, we're getting towards the end of our program. One thing that's still on my mind is, I guess, the soul. We've talked a lot about the human soul evolving to higher categories. How about the animal soul? If you take the Eastern religion approach, they say that we start life as a plant, we progress to the animal kingdom, and then from there we progress to the human kingdom. And of course, you lived, I'm giving you a very simplified version here, but if you live, for example, a life of gluttony, you may return to being a pig. That's my understanding of some Eastern religions.
Say that again?
If you lived a life as a human of gluttony, you may return as a pig, for example.
That is a lot of legend and a lot of religion, but like we said before. Yeah. So what you're talking about, sorry to cut you, but sure. What you're talking about is a metempsychosis with the human going and animal going in. Mm-hmm. They have, the animal have their own, if you like, kingdom. They have different bodies only. They have an astral body for good, mm-hmm, and you can call that a kingdom if you like, but it's no mixture between animal and, that is certain religions say that in reality it is no mixture between animal and human body.
So in fact, animals have souls just like we do, but obviously of a different.
Yeah, we can sort of call that a soul, yes, okay, of course. And for that same time, animal even same time recycle a few human coming from astral body, few human electrons with memories, etc.
Interesting.
And for that, as if you like, everything in nature became one.
Interesting. Michel, is it acceptable in terms of universal law to eat meat, or should we all be vegetarians?
Everybody do what they want to do.
Okay.
Those people over there don't really eat meat. They eat sort of seaweed and seafood, but to eat meat, if you look at the term of eating meat to not killing an animal, okay, that is a divergence of point of view because you have different things there. I can tell you something. If we look in a natural law, you have a lion eating the antelope, okay?
Right.
Or the dog eating a rabbit, mm-hmm. So you can tell me also, of course, a human being shouldn't kill. Now, one thing is, in your physical body. You have canine teeth
Yes.
by creation. You have ground teeth for the grain. You have, now, if you're comfortable eating half meat, half vegetables, that's good for you. If you're comfortable, many people, they're comfortable to eat only vegetable, and I think they are right to eat only vegetable. Some people, they're comfortable to eat fish, to eat meat, if they are in need of that, because I know myself some people who really need to eat meat, because if they don't eat meat, they become weak.
Yes,
so that to everybody is, as we said before, different, and that is a little detail, I think. Of course, if we think about the poor animal we kill, that's not good to eat meat, but that is, it's no rule, okay? If you want to do that, you do that. If you don't want to do that, you don't do that.
So you could say that's part of the cow's karma for us to
it's
kill it.
It's all part of the nature, and if you want to eat meat, it's good. It's as I say, it's no rules. Like as I explained to people, okay, as I explained a few minutes ago, don't take hallucinogen drug. What does that mean? Michel Desmarquet say, I forbid you to do that. No, absolutely not. Everybody has his free will, and the guy out there listening to that say, okay, I'm going to take more drug because that idiot say that. You know, that's his problem,
that's his
not
choice.
My problem.
Absolutely.
It's his choice, you know. Mm-hmm. So don't make me say what I didn't say.
No, understood. Nice try. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michel, speaking about plants now, we've talked about the fact that both humans and animals each have souls, that there is a connection there in terms of electrons. Do plants, in fact, have a soul, have some sort of consciousness?
Yes, they have a consciousness. The soul, the plants definitely, as I said 2 minutes ago, the animals absorb a part of the 19% of our electron, and the plants have what we can call an intelligence, and the plants are mind readers, very great mind readers. By the way, in my book, which is going to be certainly published in the end of the year, and it will be The Revenge of the Nature, I explain that in detail about experiment on plants and trees, etc., who are suffering because we cut them, who are helping us, and who are reading absolutely intelligently our mind. And that is a perfect example for many gardeners when people, got the green fingers. They don't have a green finger. They should say they get a green mind, because they think so well of the plant. They love the plant so well, and they don't want to damage the plant. And the plant is reading the mind, and everything grows with those people uniquely, only because they love the plant, and they want that plant to grow, they understand the plant. And I can prove anytime I had involuntarily experiment in canes, in my property everywhere, of tree growing better at one place and dying at another place because they knew one day a subdivision could be there, they could be bulldozed, and they've been dying before the bulldozer came. That's marvelous. Why? Because they read the mind of the landlord.
That's amazing. I know
it's unbelievable, but it's true.
Well, I know from my own experience, I practice Reiki, which is an energy healing from ancient
that's
Tibet.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and in fact, what you can do, or what I have done, and so have other practitioners, literally given Reiki to plants, and they respond very well. So there's no belief system.
They're very intelligent.
Absolutely. Can we go one step further? We've said that plants have a consciousness. Do they in fact have a soul?
No.
Okay. Going one step back then.
But they have electrons.
They have electrons.
But we can't call that really soul.
Right. With animals which do have souls, do they have an evolutionary process like with us, we go from category 1 to 9 to the source. Does an animal, for example, have a similar evolutionary process?
I didn't speak about that with Tao. So I don't know. And next time I should speak with it if they take me again, or if we have a telepathic contact. And I could answer you.
I feel good. I think that's question number 4 I've got you on, Michel. I'm going well.
Yeah.
Michel, we've covered a lot of ground in this 3-hour program. Just to finish off, I'm curious, you've obviously evolved and learned a great deal yourself. What was your original beliefs before going to Thiaoouba?
Oh, yes, it's very simple. I've been raised Catholic, and after that I didn't believe on anything anymore. No God, nothing. And finally, reading few books, I say, I think the best is reincarnation, okay? So I thought reincarnation was my belief, okay? Now I have a very great reward after that, because after what's happened to me, because, as I said before, I don't believe, I know. And that is my reward. I have to admit, everybody listening to me, you and everybody, say we have to believe it or not, believe him or not. And that is a big problem. I wish I could really prove more to you, but my belief is finished. I know, and that is my reward.
Fantastic. Michel, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much.
Well, I hope you've enjoyed listening to our 3 cassettes called Thiaoouba Truth. Be certain there'll be more to come out of Thiaoouba Prophecy as we talk again with Michel Desmarquet in the near future.